I'm moving forward every day, Jesus. I just let him lead the way every second, every minute, every hour of the day. I'm moving with Jesus every day. 24/7 with Jesus every day. 24/7.
It was the Lord who spoke to Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7, that man looks at the outward appearance while God looks at the heart. Well, some may see this as an indictment upon man, but I see it as a statement of fact, because we were made with mortal eyes. Let's face it, we all love to look good, and we can only see skin deep, as it were. So if God gave us these eyes to look at the outward appearance, then why not take care of what our eyes can see? For instance, let's take care of our skin. In studio today, Dr. Jeanine Reemaul is our dermatologist, and we are happy to have you with us today on JC 24/7.
Thank you for having me.
A dermatologist of 4 years experience.
Yes.
What or who is a dermatologist?
So a dermatologist is a doctor who specializes in the treatment of the skin, hair, nails, and the mucous membranes, which is the lining of your nose, your mouth, and your eyelids.
Right. When you say treatment, what specifically do you treat?
Well, we treat many diseases, over 3,000 diseases and conditions of the skin.
Diseases.
Yes. All right.
It's 3,000, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
From anything from acne and eczema to hair loss and wrinkles, a dermatologist would be the person to go to.
I'm just curious, what are some of those common diseases that you have been?
Well, acne in the younger age group, and then as you get older, eczema, psoriasis, many different conditions of the skin.
Are there some that are untreatable or are challenging to treat with?
Of course, we have some genetic diseases of which dermatologists can't cure.
Right.
But there are many treatments available that will help to manage and make it more, bearable to a patient.
Okay. Which ones have you seen in Trinidad and Tobago as being most common?
Eczema and psoriasis are probably the most common adult conditions.
What is psoriasis, by the way?
So psoriasis is a genetic condition that affects the skin, scalp, even nails and joints.
Okay.
And it can be quite debilitating to a patient, embarrassing. But it is very treatable, and there are lots of different treatment options available depending on the patient and the severity that they experience.
What may be responsible for causing psoriasis?
Well, it's a genetic defect, so sometimes it's passed on in families, or they may be the first unlucky person with that genetic abnormality that results in them having the psoriasis.
What are some of the maybe first signs of psoriasis?
Well, they experience a particular type of skin rash, for lack of a better word, which is usually very red, very scaly, can sometimes first present in their scalp, and they may have it there for many years, and then it slowly progresses to other areas of the body, and then they present to a dermatologist for diagnosis.
Is there a race or ethnicity that is most susceptible to?
I don't think that there is any particular race that's most susceptible. It's quite widespread, common in both men and women, and even less common, but can occur in children as well.
Okay, let's get into the skin itself.
Sure.
What is the skin made up of? I understand it's the largest human organ.
Yes, the skin is the largest human organ, and is responsible for many different functions, like regulating your temperature, detecting changes in temperature, also protecting all your delicate organs from external factors like diseases and infections. The skin is made up of 3 different layers. And so you have your outermost layer, which is called the epidermis.
Okay.
All right. And this is a multi-layer system made up of cells that, as they grow outwards, they die and they form the top layer of the skin. It takes about 5 weeks for that process to occur. And in this layer, you have the defensive cells that detect any viruses and bacteria and relay this information to the immune system so that it can, defend the body against these insults. And this layer is attached to a deeper layer that's called the dermis.
Dermis, right.
And the dermis is the one that gives the organ its strength and its elasticity because it has fibers of collagen and elastin in it. In the dermis, you will also find your blood vessels. And your blood vessels are responsible for regulating your body temperature. So if it's very hot, your blood vessels will expand or dilate in order to release heat out into the environment.
Right.
And if it's cold, it will conserve heat by constricting.
Right.
Okay. You also have within your dermis your nerve fibers, which detect pain and temperature and relay this information to the brain. In the dermis, you have many organs, glands, all right, so that have ducts that connect to the surface of the skin.
Right.
You also have sweat glands, all right, that produce your sweat, which is responsible for regulating your temperature,
Right.
all right, when you perspire, and also it releases toxins in the form of urea and lactate.
Let me just digress a little bit. Why is sweating important?
So sweating is most important for regulating your temperature,
Okay.
all right? Sweating also plays a secondary sexual function as well, because we have special sweat glands, especially in your armpits,
Right.
that produce a scented sweat, all right? And it's linked to that function. And also for the reason of releasing toxins
Right.
from the blood, particularly urea and lactate.
I ask because I know there are some folk who don't like sweating,
Of course.
how it looks, how it
Yes.
feels, and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I'm asking to give them some sense of comfort.
Of course. And there are persons who are afflicted with sweating too much, and there is a medical condition which causes too much sweating. So, you know, in any body function, you can have overactivity, all right, which may be abnormal, but in general, sweating is something that we want, okay?
Right.
Because without sweating and living in a hot climate such as Trinidad, we probably wouldn't be able to exist, yes.
There are some folk who actually sweat in their palms of their hands
course.
without doing anything.
Yes, and that's one of the conditions that usually causes them to present to a dermatologist is
Okay.
excessive sweating in the palms and soles.
Okay.
And that is a very troublesome condition
Wow.
for a lot of people, yes.
Is it treatable?
It is treatable, not curable, unfortunately, but it is treatable.
What do you do, for instance?
There are many different things that you can do,
Okay.
depending on you know, different factors. Availability of different treatments in Trinidad can sometimes be an issue, but there are topicals that you can put on to try to help the sweating. There are even injectables, newer things on the market now that you can use to try to stop sweating.
Can the skin be an indicator of something that's going wrong on the inside?
Yes. So the skin can be an indicator of your overall health. So internal diseases can manifest in different ways on the skin.
Right.
And sometimes it's your first clue to something that's going wrong on the inside. You may not have any other symptoms, or you may not pay attention to other symptoms.
Right.
But when something is wrong with the skin, it usually causes a person to take notice, and that may be the first thing that makes them go to the doctor.
Can you, as a dermatologist, look at someone and say, I wonder something looks a bit fishy here?
Of course, yes.
You
There are certain...
Don't look at me, by the way.
There are certain factors that will make you suspicious.
Right.
Of course, it's not a guarantee that I can tell you this is absolutely wrong with you, but it can certainly make me want to test further to look for something that might be, you know, I might be suspicious of.
How does one go about taking care of his skin? Well, his or her skin.
Of course. So it's very important that in Trinidad, the number one factor is protecting yourself from the sun. The sun is responsible for a lot of different abnormalities of the skin, age spots and wrinkles, and even increases your risk of skin cancers. So protecting your skin from the sun is probably the most important thing you can do.
That's interesting because we are told at times that the sun is good for your skin.
And there are certain conditions that benefit from the sun, but with everything, there should be moderation. And too much sun exposure is one of the factors that is well researched to be adverse to the skin.
And that's for all races, all ethnicities?
For all races and all ethnicities. Some people will have a higher risk due to their skin color. And luckily, most of our population has nice brown pigment in their skin, which is somewhat protective, but that doesn't negate the fact that they should be using additional forms of sun protection.
Is there a period of the day that we have to avoid the most?
Yes, so from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is when the sun's rays are the strongest, and that's
brutal.
and that's when, if you're outdoors, you should be protecting your skin from the sun. I said outdoors, but some patients are so sensitive to the sun that even while indoors, they require protection as well, through windows, car glasses.
Oh, okay.
Sun is a big factor that we need to take heed of. Yeah.
And your sun protection would include also clothes.
So
clothes you wear.
clothing, long sleeve clothing, wide brimmed hats, but sunscreen is a major part of that. So wearing a sunscreen that has a sun protection factor of more than 15, I think is necessary for our climate. And reapplying it every 2 hours is what's recommended. I think most people, they may use the sunscreen, but they may not use it correctly. So you have to use enough. You have to apply it really generously. And then you have to reapply every 2 hours, or even more often if you sweat a lot or if you go swimming.
Okay. And as you mentioned sunscreen, I know people, and forgive me, but people of African descent don't like to use sunscreen.
Right. So as I said, you do have some sort of protection from the melanin in your skin, and your incidence of certain diseases like skin cancers is less. However, it is not zero. And we do have instances of skin cancers still occurring in people of every color and every race. And so it's still important to, make sure and protect your skin from the sun. And I think no one likes wrinkles. No one wants to develop wrinkles as they get older. And the skin is the number one factor. The sun, is the number one factor that would develop wrinkles.
Well, let's go back to protecting your skin. You said, you avoid the sun. What else do we do?
So you would also want to stop smoking if you're a smoker. All right. So smoking is also another big factor that causes aging. All right, so wrinkles. It damages those fibers in the dermis that I spoke about, the elastin and the collagen fibers, and causes you to wrinkle more. It also narrows the blood vessels in the uppermost layers of the skin and can cause the skin to look dull and pale due to that.
You could look at somebody's skin and see if they were smoking, can you?
Well, you can have an idea. You can have a good idea.
Right, okay. Any other thing we do to protect our skin?
So we also have diet plays a big role. So eating a very healthy diet and drinking a lot of water, particularly a diet high in fish oils. That's shown to be beneficial to the skin. Stress plays a big part in the health of your skin as well.
In what way?
So for acne, for example, stress can trigger breakouts. For people with psoriasis, stress can trigger a flare of your psoriasis. So it's very important to manage your stress levels, get enough sleep, that sort of thing is very important. And taking care of your skin gently. So in terms of your showers, for example, you may want to limit your bath time. All right, make sure that you don't take excessively long showers and they're not very hot, because hot water strips your skin of its essential oils. You want to treat your skin gently when you're drying your skin after a shower. You want to pat dry, right, rather than wipe very harshly.
Come on, Doc. I mean, that sounds like more feminine. A guy coming out of the bathroom is not going to, he's going to,
I know, but when it does damage to his skin, he won't like the appearance of it. So it's better to prevent rather than, have to take measures after the fact.
Oh, you said long showers.
Yes.
Does that include sea bathing and swimming pool and stuff like that? Please tell me no.
Well, we never want to limit a person's enjoyment and relaxation. So going to the beach is certainly a way in which our people find a way of relaxing and enjoying themselves. But definitely you want to exercise moderation. You want to go to the beach every day. That's not good for your skin either.
I'm here with Dr. Reemaul. She is pulling the plug on some of us who may want to spend a little longer in the beach. But it might do you well if you take care of your skin and have shorter baths. It will help you in the long run. We'll be right back.
Away, becoming more like you each and every day. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love. I saw a bruised and battered woman with hungry children on the streets. Then I heard you asking that still soft voice, what have you done for the least of these? Lord, consume me with a burning fire that melts away my complacencies. Let me be moved with love and compassion, that someone will find a way in me. Show me how to love in the true meaning of the word. Teach me to sacrifice, expecting nothing in return. I want to give my life away, becoming more like you each and every day. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love. Open up mine eyes that I might really see just more and more and more of you and less of me. By loving the unlovable and by touching the untouchable, let my actions speak louder than my words. Lord, please show me how to love in the true meaning of the word. Teach me to sacrifice, expecting nothing in return. I want to give my life away, becoming more like you each and every day. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love.
I'm here with Dr. Reemaul as we engage the subject. Look good, feel good. And Dr. Reemaul, before we broke, you were talking about the limiting of the bath.
Yes.
I want to assure the listeners that you're not saying any stretch of the imagination, do not go to the beach.
Of course not.
Go to the beach, get your bath, go to the swimming pool, but
Yes.
it's just a matter of managing.
Enjoying with moderation.
With moderation.
Yes.
Good. And we were looking at the whole question of protecting your skin under treating the skin gently. You did say that we must avoid, well, we must limit bath time, but what about the soaps that we use?
Right. We should opt for mild cleansers rather than harsh ones. And sometimes all the very sweetly scented, very strongly dyed bar soaps that are available are not very good for the skin. And dermatologists tend to recommend those that are milder cleansers for the skin. So look for ones that don't have as much fragrance or dye in it. There are lots of options now available very readily in most groceries and pharmacies, etc.
What are some of the side effects of using strong soaps?
Well, people who have specific skin conditions like eczema may be allergic to a particular fragrance and dye that they put in these commonly used products. And when you use it continually, you keep flaring your skin condition and wondering, why is it happening? Even though I'm using medications, it still keeps coming back, and that could be one of the reasons. So we may not know that we're allergic or sensitive to that particular ingredient, and so it's best to avoid if we can.
There are some who don't use soaps at all. Are there options that they can use?
I don't think that you need to not use soap. The soap does, provide some function in terms of aiding your cleansing process, but the milder ones are much more preferable.
Okay. Shaving.
Yes. So shaving is also a process that can be very harsh on the skin. And in order to facilitate that and to make it a lot less damaging, what you can do is use a shaving cream. A lot of men don't use shaving creams when shaving. And that helps to soften the hairs, soften the skin, and make the process glide a lot more easily. You want to use a very clean, very sharp razor each time. And you also want want to shave in the direction of the hair growth, which can sometimes be frustrating in certain areas,
Right.
but that's the correct way to do it.
I suppose in some cases where men don't use shaving cream, sometimes it affects their skin. Some buttons come out and stuff like that.
Right.
Have
Yeah.
you
So
ever
you can get shaving razor bumps, as it's commonly
right,
called,
that's right.
if you shave incorrectly, and those are some of the
Or
ways
it's
that you can
because of
avoid it.
how you shave it and
Well,
not because of the cream.
it's a little more than that, but that's a way that you can minimize it from happening.
Okay.
You know, the shaving bumps can result as a result of your hair texture and curling under the skin when it's trying to grow back out. But these steps can help to minimize that from happening.
And you said shave in the direction of the hair growth.
Yes.
I mean, how the hair is
How the hair is lying.
lying.
Yes.
Okay, so you shave in that,
That
direction.
direction.
Okay. We spoke about the patting of the pat dry. Still trying to get over pat dry and stuff like that. What could be some of the effects if you rigorously dry your skin?
Well, you damage the skin and you dry it excessively. You never want to over dry the skin. You would like to leave some moisture on the skin. And particularly, it's nice to apply lotions when the skin is still damp after a shower. So patting dry just allows you to retain some of that moisture and hopefully absorb it into the cells
Right.
and makes the skin more supple and look more radiant.
Now, let me ask you a question that some guys may be wanting to ask, because I think you alluded to the question of moisturizer,
Yes.
moisturizing your skin and
Yes.
stuff like that. A woman who shakes a man's hand wants to shake a hand that is firm.
Yes.
Moisturizer can make the guy's hand supple, a little bit too soft. Should a guy be using moisturizer?
Oh, I think that's a myth. I think that the skin on the palm of your hands is 10 times thicker than the skin around your eyes, let's say. So it's also always going to be a little bit tougher than the skin elsewhere on the body. And for men, it may be a little bit more so. So you already have that predisposition to toughness in that area. And certainly, even though a woman wants to feel the strength, she doesn't want to feel very rough hands either.
Okay.
And I still think it's important to protect your hands. Remember, you use your hands every day.
Right.
If you get, splits in the skin and so on, you can get infections coming in there because you're touching many things throughout the day. All right. So protecting your hands, moisturizing your hands is very important.
So moisturizer is an aid to protection as well.
Of course,
It's not
it
just-
can act as a barrier for those people who have, imperfect skin barriers due to eczema or other, illnesses. It provides an extra layer of protection by making the cells, stick together really nicely on the surface and
Okay.
prevent anything from getting in.
Are there some moisturizers that we should be careful not to use, or be
Well,
careful?
again, the same principle applies as
Right.
with the soaps. You want to avoid the very highly fragranced moisturizers and the ones with dye in it. But I think there is a move towards, marketing of those gentler products on the skin, and it's very readily available now.
Help me out here. How or when should a person access dermatological care?
Sure. So anyone who has a skin condition that they are concerned about can either visit their general practitioner,
Right.
who may be able to help them. And if not, they can be referred on to a dermatologist. You can also directly access dermatologic care. It is available both in the public and private sectors of Trinidad and Tobago. In most of our hospitals, we have skin clinics, and as well, we have lots of our dermatologists have private practices around the country.
Is there screening? I mean, do I just go in just to make sure I'm all right?
So the local health centers and the general practitioners kind of function as our screening
okay,
environment.
okay.
So they would treat the simpler things that, little ringworm infections, etc. Those facilities would be able to, assist them with that. But once it gets any more complicated, they tend to refer on to a specialist.
Our program today is about looking good and feeling good.
Of course.
And sometimes feeling good because you're looking good.
Yes.
How does looking good, or how does skincare help with our well-being?
Well, it's very directly linked to our self-esteem. And in this modern day of lots of pictures and social media, I think the skin is playing an even greater role in our daily lives. And everybody wants to look and feel their best. And so taking care of it will ensure that you can do so.
I suppose this applies more to women and men, or is it across the board?
I don't think it's exclusive to women. I think that men are sometimes a little more shy or require a little more of a push to go to see a doctor. But I think they're equally concerned where it comes to their skin.
You think so?
Yes, I think if
But
there's...
our commercials seem to be highlighting and emphasizing women and
Yes.
skincare. You don't see any commercials about men taking care of their skin.
Well, I can't say that I have a much larger number of female patients than males. I think it's pretty much equal.
It's equal?
Yes. Men do access,
Okay.
healthcare, and they are concerned about, different conditions of the skin. It may be a little different than what the woman is coming in
Right.
for. They may have different concerns, but they definitely do have concerns when it comes to their
Sometimes
skin as well.
we wait until it reaches the extreme.
I think that does happen. Men wait a little longer
Because we are
before
tough, we could take anything,
or they try a number of things before they will admit that they, need to see someone for some help.
How would you therefore want to encourage more males to take care of their skin? What would you say to them?
Well, I think, things like the sun protection is something that they would not readily do on their own. So they may have to be encouraged by a wife or a mother in order to help them along that process. But it's very important. And a lot of our males also have jobs that require them working outdoors. And so they need to have this additional protection. And then smoking probably affects males a lot more than the females.
Right.
So I think that that's something that they need to be a lot more aware of.
Okay, let's begin to wrap up here. Why are you happy that God made Dr. Jeanine with good skin, with skin itself?
I think that the skin is often overlooked as a very superficial organ, but I think it's much deeper than that. Of course, we can recognize its beauty when it's healthy,
Sure.
And it can be enjoyed in that way. But as a protection from external diseases and as a way of regulating your temperature, it serves so many other functions.
Right.
And it can also give us a clue sometimes as to something more, sinister going on inside.
Right.
So I think that the skin shouldn't be overlooked in that way, and it's a God-given blessing.
And it's an important aspect when it comes to touch.
Yes, of course.
I know
Yes.
at least one person who's excited about how God made you. He's your husband, of
Yes.
course, and he's looking on
Yes.
this telecast. Because if he didn't see your skin, he may not have been where he is today. Dr. Jeanine Reemaul, we want to thank you for being with us
Thank you very
today.
much
Thank
for
you your
having
time.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we hope you can come back sometime soon.
Sure.
All right. We'll be talking about looking good and feeling good with Dr. Jeanine Reemaul. Some of you, let's face it, we all want to look good. We all want to feel good. Well, let's start with the outward appearance, because that's what man sees. But even as you take care of the outward appearance, bear in mind that God looks a little deeper at the heart. So in the same way you take care of the outward appearance, let God take care of your heart 24/7. See you next time.
Thank you for viewing JC 24/7. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and remember to inspire your living as you prepare for heaven. You can get it all on JC 24/7.